we have completed the HTML portion of the calculator, and as you can see, we have somewhat of a format here. This is the finished product over here of what we're striving to do, and now I'm going to add the styles. So the first thing I want to do is, I want to create the calculator container. Now, I estimated the size to be approximately 400 by 660. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to add a link to the style sheet that doesn't exist right now. It's going to be in a CSS folder, and I'm going to call it styles. So that file does not exist yet, as you can see, so we're going to add a new file here called styles.css. So now we have a folder here, and I'm going to do a test code to see to make sure that the style is linked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a background color to the body, and background color, I'm going to make it beige, and I'm going to refresh this page here and see if this turns beige. I don't know, it doesn't look like it. Maybe. Let's try a color. Let's try would that work? Maybe. Let's try that. Nope. Maybe it doesn't work. I know Rebecca purple is a color, but let's just try purple. Let's just try purple. Okay, that means it's not linked, or I'm doing something wrong. So styles.css, background color purple. Let's go to the index. I think this might have something to do with it. This here, maybe if I put a period in the front, maybe that'll work. Let's see here. There we go. Alright, so basically that period works. It'll probably work without the period too. Let's see here. Refresh. Yep, still works without the period. Yeah, I like adding a period. The period basically means in the same directory. You're in the same directory, go to the folder that's in the same directory, and inside that folder called CSS will be a file called styles.css. So I'm just trying to keep it consistent across the board. So I'm going to change that color to beige. Don't need anything too fancy and too crazy. And so there we go. There's our beige. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to center the calculator. You know, maybe I can make the background color this color gray here. That looks like that might be maybe CCC or AAA maybe. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's try AAA. See if it's too dark. Okay, maybe. That's a little dark, so let's go CCC. Let's go CCC. That might do it. I said CCC from the beginning. So let's see here. BBB. I mean, it really doesn't matter, but I'm just OCD working here. So that looks a little dark. we'll go with it. I mean, it's okay. So let's center this. Let's center this here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to look here, and it's a container, and inside the container is a calculator. So, I am going to make the width of the container 960 and the height auto, and then I'm going to center it. So calculate the container. That's a class, so we have to put a period in front. So we need the width to be 960 pixels, and then we're going to have auto on the height. And then we're going to have the margin 0 auto for the centering. 0, you know what, I'm going to put 60 on the top and the bottom, 60 pixels on the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to do auto. That's going to center that, and then that's it for now. That's it for now. Let's do a refresh. Okay, so why didn't that center? That's interesting. Let's see, maybe the reason why I didn't center is because sometimes you have to reload these styles. I don't know why. Let me see here. I'm trying to go to the styles. It's not taking me there. Interesting. Oh, I know why. The container is actually centered, but the calculator is actually left justified. The calculator is not centered inside of the container. So if I actually did a border or outline, say a border, let's do a border, and it's going to be 1 pixel, and let's go obviously make it solid, and let's make that color, let's make it a dark gray. So let's go 333, and let's see what happens here. Refresh. See, there's our center container, and then the calculator is justified to the left of that container. So we really, I mean, we need to center it. We don't need to center it, but I'm going to center it and center the calculator within the container. So calculator, we know that I estimate that calculator to have dimensions of 400 by 660. So I'm going to add a class called calculator. Open up the curlies with 400 pixels, height 660 pixels, and then we have margin. We are going to let's do 15. Let's do 30 pixels on the top, auto. Let's see what it looks like. Let's go back to our browser. So, that's interesting. So, if that's supposed to be centered, that's obviously not centered. So, width and height, width 400 height. Let me put a border around that calculator and see what kind of shape it's taking on. Let's see. Okay, see, look at that. So that tells us some pretty valuable information. doesn't look centered. I mean, it doesn't really look centered. That looks like that's a smaller space than this, but according to that, it's centered. So let's go with it. Let's go with it. So we are going to see how it working right there. So if I did this, I guess that's supposed to be centered. So anywho, let's get this puppy here. Let's start adding color. So we know we want the background color of the calculator to be black. I could actually get rid of the border for the container. I'm just going to comment that out. Alright. And then I'm going to make the background of the calculator, background color to be black. Okay, background color. Black is 0, 6 zeros or 3 zeros. Shorthand is 3 in this case. And then let's see how that looks. Alright, so now I want my display area. I want to stretch my buttons across. I want my display area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to guess here. We can always change it. I'm going to guess how high, considering the fact that we have 660 pixels high, and that's essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and some change. I'm going to say 7 rows. We're going to split that 360 in 7 ways. So if I say 660 divided by 7, that's 94 pixels. I'm gonna make it 90. I'm gonna make it 90 because 90 is divisible by 15 from top to bottom, and it's divisible by 10 going across. So I'm gonna make it 90. So I'm gonna make each button 90. So if we look at our HTML, we see all of our buttons, and we see that obviously they have a type of button, and the name, each one is named the same thing. So actually this is part of the HTML, but I'm just going to go and make these changes right quick, because obviously every one of these buttons can't have the same name. So that's going to be clear, and that's going to be opposite. This is percent divide. Then 7, 8, 9, multiply. 4, 5, 6, subtract 1, 1, 2, 3, add 0, and decimal, and last but not least, equal. Alright, so now that we have our names that are consistent with our labels, now I need to do a global style for the buttons that gives it a default color and text or what have you. So that font is obviously a sans serif font. It looks kind of Arial-ish, so I am going to set the global style for font for the body. Font family. I think it's Arial-ish, but you know, it doesn't really matter. Sans serif is good for readability. So let's just say, do I want Arial? I'm going to say Century Gothic. I kind of like Century Gothic. Century Gothic. And then I'm going to back up, have an Arial, and then sans serif. Alright, so what I'm going to do, see what it looks like. Okay, changed up a little bit. Also, let me reset these things. I'm going to do a reset. I'm going to kill the padding and the margin and then a border on the buttons. Okay, so asterisks for everything. So padding 0 pixels, margin 0 pixels, and border, and that's going to be none. Alright, let's see what it looks like. Wow, that's really different. Okay, that's good. So no padding, no margin, and no borders. Okay, so back to our buttons. We want our buttons to have the same size, except with the exception of the 0 button. So obviously that 0 button is a little special. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply to all of the buttons a general style or height and width and a background color. So for every button, we're going to have a width of 90 pixels and a height of 90 pixels. And we also want to have a background color of white. Okay, and let's see what it looks like. Alright, it looks a little different. The display area, I need a display area. It's supposed to be black, and I am going to call that display area, let's see what it looks like here. So from here to here, we call that the display area. We know 2 of these buttons are 90 and 9180. So let's just do 180 on the height and 400 on the width. 180 on the height, 400 on the width, and that is the display area here. So the display area is within the calculator, and that's a class. And width, want that to be 400, and the height, we're going to start it off at 180. See how she looks. Oh, we need a background color of black. And that would be 000. Let's see how she looks. Alright, it's looking a little bit better. So let's just pop a 0 in there. Also on the back, we need actually for the background color, for the display area, we need the color to be white. And that's going to be FFF. And I'm going to add a 0 in there in the display area. Actually, I could just close her off like this. 0. Okay, let's refresh and see our 0's in the upper left hand corner. We need that 0 down here in the bottom right. And as you can also see, there is no padding here in the display area. And since the display area is separate from the button area, we can actually apply some padding all the way around. I am going to do 15 on the top and bottom, and I'm going to do 20 on the left and the right. 15 on the top and bottom, 20 on the left and the right in the display area. So padding 15 px, 20 px. And then also we need text aligned to the right in the display area. We need that to the right. And we also need the font size to be just a little bit bigger. So font size, let's do 250%, just for kicks. See what it looks like. Refresh. Okay, it's to the right now. So now I need, where's the padding that I supposedly had? Display. Since it's a class, we got to put a period there. If it was a ID, we'll put a hashtag there. So for the display, we're going to do margin. Actually, yeah, margin. Top and bottom 15. Yeah, I'm gonna do auto, and then I'm gonna do padding. See what happens. Okay, because I'm thinking I shouldn't have to center that display. It should already be centered. But I might have to want to put some padding on the display area. Okay, so that just gave me added some room to it because of the box model. So we got 15, okay, and then we have this space here. So let's see that display area there. So if I do margin left and right of 20, that means that's 40 getting taken off. So now I need to change the width to 360. So the width of the actual display is 360. So 360 on the width, and then we need margin of 20 on both sides. Let's see here. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, that looks a little better, but I gotta bring it down, so I probably need to add some margin. I think I want that number to be a little bigger. I think I want to make it 300. Let's see. 300, and then also I need to add a margin. You know what? I am going to make that 90 with a margin on the top of 90. So I shut down the height of the display area, and then I increase the margin at the top to make up for it. And that's going to bring everything down. So display area, rather than 180, we make it 90, and then we have a margin on the top of 90. 90 pixels. And let's see what happens here. Okay, that moved it down. That looks a little better. So for some reason it seems like that 0 is not big enough, but we can fix that later. Everything is coming together now. So now let's work on the buttons, the colors of the buttons. Okay, let's look at our buttons. We see our buttons. All right. So we already know that this color here is 999 on the gray. We know that this is orange, which is F90, and we know that this dark gray is 333. So let's start getting these colors fixed. So we need to do 3 different classes, okay? And these classes are to alter the background color of the button. So I'm going to say button gray, button orange, button light gray, button dark gray, button orange. Okay. So button light gray, button dark gray. You know what? As well. I like being semantic. I mean, granted, it's extra typing, but I like being semantic. I like stuff to be clear. So I'm just going to do that. And then button orange. Alright, so now only thing I'm going to do here with the light gray button, if we go back to what our button looks like, it's just 3 buttons that's going to need that class applied to it. We got each file that need that applied. And as you can see, the text color is black on the gray button, but it's white on the other buttons. So by default, the color is already black. Okay, so that means we don't even have to do any. We don't have to add a color style to the button light gray class. However, for the dark gray and orange class, we have to add a color of white for the text. So let's do the light gray button first. So it's going to be a background color of 3 nines, and we don't have to change the text color because it's already black. We do, however, let's go to this button and let's make the font size bigger because those are too small. So let's do 250%. See what it looks like. Alright, so looking pretty decent. Okay, 250 seems like it's going to work. Alright, so now we need to do the colors. So we have a light gray button, we have a dark gray button, which has white, which have white color for the buttons, So dark gray is background color, and it is 3 threes, and then we also need color white for the text color. So that's FFF for white, and here I'm just going to copy that here. Oops. Okay, copy, paste. Okay, so we know we want our color to be white, but orange color is F90. F90. Save that. Let's go look at her, see what she looks like. Oh, it doesn't look like anything, and the reason why is because we need to add those styles. Button light gray, button dark gray, button orange. We need to add those styles to its respective elements. So I'm going to take button light gray. I'm going to the HTML for that. So the all clear button, the opposite button, and the percent button will take the class of light gray. All clear, opposite, and percent. So I'm going to add class. I'm just going to add it right here. Class. And put it right here. Button light gray. I'm going to copy that. Paste it here. And then paste it again. So once we refresh this, the color should be light gray. Alright, so there's our gray button. Alright, and now let's do the orange and also the dark gray. So we're going to do the dark gray, which is all of the numbers and then a decimal point. Alright, we can do the oranges too. So let's go back to here. I'm going to copy and paste light gray here, but I'm going to change that to, what's that? That's the divide. So all the operation keys are orange. So actually make that orange. And then I'm going to copy this orange to the respective spot. So on divide, on multiply, on subtract, on add, and on the equal. So that should be all orange, and then the rest of them are gray. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this puppy in here and change that to dark gray. Copy that. And every number and decimal point is going to have dark gray. So that's really everyone that's left. So here, there, 1, 2, 3, then 0 and decimal point. Alright. So now when I refresh to see how it looks, bam. Okay, now we got that nagging 0 button that we need to expand the width on. So we're going to say button wide. Make a class called button wide, and we're going to make that about it's going to be 90. I'm going to say 93 maybe. Let's say just 95. Might be too big, but we need for the width of that button to be double the width. So it's going to be, if two buttons are 90 and 90, 180. So that means that it's going to be more than 180. So I'm to account for this little gutter part right here. That doesn't look like 5 pixels. I'm gonna say 3, 2 or 3. So I'm just gonna say 93. I mean, we can always fix it. So we need a new class called button wide. Period btn wide curlies with, we're gonna say 183 pixels. All right, we need to apply that class also to that 0 button. It's going to be here in HTML. 0 button right here. We add that class. All we have to do is copy and paste button wide in there, and let's see what it looks like. All right, it's not wide enough, so it looks like we need about 1 or 2 more pixels. So let's just do 2. It's probably gonna be 1. So let's say 85. 185. Refresh. Too much. 184. All right, that's what I thought. 184. So let's refresh her. Beautiful. That's perfect. So now let's look at our calculator here, and as you can see, you also see there's some margin or padding there. So we are going to, that looks like that might be about 10 pixels maybe. I'm gonna say 5, maybe 7 pixels. But I like doing stuff by 10, so let me just do 10 pixels on the left and the right, and we are gonna make that that is the button area. So now we're going to do the button area. It's going to have padding on the left and the right, and the top and the bottom. So let's do 10 and 10 and 15 on top and bottom on the button area padding. All right, let's do it. So let's look at the HTML. And like I said, we got a button area that's holding all the buttons. So we will put the padding on the button area. So that's a class. So we need to put a period. So button area is going to be here. Let's put it here. And then we know padding 15, top and bottom, left and right 10 pixels. Let's see if it makes a difference here. Okay, looks a little bit better. Looks like it's a little bit more on the right than it is on the left. All that means I might need to shut down that width a little bit. But before I do that, I want to, I'm going to text align. I'm going to text align a button, because if you look at this button, you see how the zero is over here. So I'm going to text align that width. I'm going to say text align left on the button Y. Put it on here. Text align left. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, that's two. I mean that's where it is. So we need some padding. We need some padding. I'm going to say padding left. I'm gonna say 20. See, because I'm trying to get that zero. See, that zero is in line with all those numbers. So I need that zero to be in line with those numbers. But I'm gonna say padding. I'm just gonna say 20 just to see. Padding left 20 pixels. Okay, so it looks like we need another 10 maybe. Okay, say 30. Okay, refresh. Okay, that looks pretty close. It's a little bit off. I'm gonna say 32 maybe. 32. It looks pretty. I'm gonna say 34. 34. Okay, that looks about right. All right, so now let's get the border radiuses on the button. But before I do that, I need to this button, that equal button, looks like it's just a little bit off. I'm curious as to why that equal button is off, but the other ones are not. That's interesting. Let's do the border radius for the buttons. So for the buttons, that's a global class, so I can actually put that on a button. So I'm going to say border radius 50%. See how it looks. Boom. Okay, there's our circles here, but the border radius is just a little bit too much for that. That is interesting. Obviously, we need to have some margin between those buttons. top and bottom. Let's do 10 top and bottom. We got to fix that. We got to do some custom stuff on that one. Yeah. So margin top and bottom. So we're gonna say 50. Yeah, that's probably gonna be too much. I'm gonna say 15 anyway, just to see what it looks like. But I know it's gonna be too much, or should I say, I believe it's gonna be too much. Actually, that's like 15 all around. It's only supposed to be 15, and then 0. Okay, let's see. All right, that's too much, as you can see. If you look at this here, definitely that's too much. So let's do 5. That might be too little, but let's just do 5. So we go from 15 to 5, and let's see. Looks a little better. Looks a little better. Looks a little better. I think I can live with that. So now that means I need to expand. I need to expand my calculator. Actually, the padding that's inside the button area could be cut down a little bit. So button area padding, rather than 15, let's do 10. 10 on top and bottom. Well, that doesn't seem like it made too much of a dent. Okay. Doesn't seem like it made a dent. So do I even need padding? That's a question too. Do I even really need the padding? 5. It looks like that text is a little bit bigger than it needs to be. And it looks like that's not big enough. So let's go display area. Let's say 350, and then the buttons, button. We're gonna bring that down to 200. All right. I think it looks better. I'm kind of trying to figure out for the border radius. Let me just try a separate style for that one. I need all right, I need to increase the height of the calculator. So let's do another 30, 90, okay. All right, that looks good. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good, with the exception of that 0 button. We have to do custom button for that. So let me, let's see. This 0 button. I'm going to add an ID to it so I can target it individually. So I'm going to say ID and I'm going to say btn 0. So I'm going to target that in the CSS. Alright, so button 0. So we know that we need a border radius on that. As you can see here, I have a border radius of 40 pixels, and prior to having this, we had styles that cascaded down for the button. The button had its own style where all of the buttons had a border radius of 50%, which caused all these buttons to be circles. But with the exception of this button, it didn't work too well because the width is much wider than the rest of the buttons. So therefore, the style of border radius had a different effect on that. So I had to target the HTML for the 0 button. I had to create an ID called button 0 so I can target it individually. So what I did was I changed the border radius to an actual specific pixel number of 40 pixels. And also I put the height in there too, just to make sure that the application or the code was aware that the height was actually 90 pixels, even though in the button description or the button declaration here we specify a height of 90 pixels already. The only thing that changed was the width of 90 pixels. So actually that probably doesn't matter. I probably can take that height out and it should probably still be the same. So as you can see, I made the changes. And here, as you can see, the button is oval. Now it looks like that button might be a tad bit high, but it's 90 pixels, 90 pixels. So it shouldn't make a difference. Maybe I could make it 80 and 80 or whatever, but right, as you can see, the oval is there on both sides. So in the next video, we will get into the JavaScript actually making the calculator functional. Until next time.